Sergeant Bowe Bergdahl is the U.S. soldier who disappeared from his patrol base back in 2009 and was held in captivity for 5 years, and he has now been charged with desertion and misbehaving before the enemy. There are going to be some super interesting court proceedings in the coming months as a result. There's going to be what's called a preliminary Article 32 hearing, which is sort of like a grand jury in civilian court, but in military court. And if Bergdahl is convicted on all charges, there is potential for him to spend life in prison. This story should sound familiar to you because this is the story of Bowe Bergdahl, who just months ago was released in a prisoner exchange where President Obama, without seeking authority from Congress, not that he legally needs to, released 5 Taliban detainees in exchange for Bowe Bergdahl. And not surprisingly, Republicans made 2 different arguments. One argument was President Obama broke the law by making that deal without consulting Congress. Not true. Legal experts have said that is not the case at all. President Obama had the authority to make that deal. Other right-wingers said that Bergdahl didn't deserve to have the president negotiate for him because he was a deserter and he walked away from his unit. Let's break that down. At the time, Bowe Bergdahl had not been charged with desertion. His whereabouts were not known. There were conflicting stories about the circumstances of his desertion. Given the official circumstances at the time, it would be absurd to argue that President Obama should not treat him like any other American that the American government might be able to have released or to bring back to safety. If he is a deserter, you have to have an investigation, and then you have to have charges, and then he needs to be convicted on those charges. President Obama absolutely did the right thing. Now we have a legal process which will run its course. We have charges. We now need to have this sort of grand jury type hearing. We then need to see about going to trial, and then we will see what the ultimate verdict is. But we don't just ignore Americans and leave them in the hands of the enemy because there have been claims made by people in the field that we have a deserter here. Desertion is a legal term, and until that is proven, someone is not a deserter. Now, Bergdahl's attorneys have already released a letter discussing the conditions of his captivity. They claim that he tried to escape 12 times. There is certainly not going to be a sort of sit down and walk over Bergdahl with the charges without any kind of defense here. We will see where this shakes out, but to criticize President Obama, I mean, it's another one of these concocted non-scandals from the right.